of books that we have today, written on different madahib, all these books of fiqh, jurisprudence, in which all the masail are written, with all their dalail, with all their proofs, these books at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam were non-existent. Why? Because the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'een, whenever they faced a problem, or whenever they required the ruling of a certain thing, they would turn to Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam himself. They would turn to Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, and Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam would inform them of the ruling, and Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam would solve the problem from them, from the revelation. Whether this revelation was in the form of the Qur'an, or whether this revelation was in the form of the Sunnah of RasulAllah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. At the same time, all these different rulings which we have today, for example, mabah, wajib, mandub, mustahab, sunnati mu'akkada, sunnati ghayri mu'akkada, farz, haram, jawaz, adamul jawaz, this thing is mustahab, this thing is wajib, this thing is mandub, it is jais to do this thing, it is not jais to do this thing. None of these things or none of these terms existed at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And nor did Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam say to the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'een, okay, wuzu for example has so many farz, he has 4 farz, or he has 5 farz, or he has 6 farz. Wuzu has so many sunnahs, wuzu has so many conditions, salah has so many conditions before it, it has so many conditions inside it. Tayammum has so many farz. These are the conditions for tayammum, these are the price for tayammum. None of these things existed at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'een were very simple people and very good people. They were never asked Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam questions like this. Whatever they saw Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam doing, the manner they saw Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam doing that thing, it was the aim and objective of the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'een to follow Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam in that manner. Today, generally when we pose a question and we ask the ruling of a certain thing, today, astaghfirullah, the reason we do this, the majority of it is because we don't want to act upon that thing. We ask, for example, the beard is generally a question that is posed. What is the ruling regarding the beard? When the answer is given, you should keep a beard. Because we don't want to keep it, then we say, okay, is this the opinion of all the imams? When this is so, okay, yes, this is the opinion of all the imams, then the next question is, we think it was the adat of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, it was a thing that was rife within the Arabs, it was a custom and a culture of the Arabs, and not a sunnah. So normally when we ask the ruling of regarding certain things, whether this thing is mustahab, whether this thing is mandub, whether this thing is wajib or farz, it is because we really don't want to act upon these things. The Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'een were great people. They never asked regarding these things because they didn't want to know. They wanted to see whatever Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam did, and they wanted to follow 100% how Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam did, because they believe لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ, the best of all examples in Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. Finally, at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was no difference of opinion with regards to any issue of fiqh. With regards to any issue of jurisprudence at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like today we have a difference of opinion with regards to nearly everything. At the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was no difference of opinion with regards to any issue of fiqh. Because the source was only one. The Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'een would turn to Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, and Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam would give him the answer. However, if there was some difference of opinion amongst the Sahaba due to different understandings of what Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam had said, the Sahaba would turn to Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam yet again, and Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam would also solve the differences amongst the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'een. For example, the hadith Abu Dawud has recorded on the authority of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He says that the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'een, 2 Sahabis were on a journey. It was time for Salah. They could not find any water. The Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'een made tayammum, and they offered their Salah. Now before the time of that Salah ended, they came across some water. Now one of the Sahabis did wudu and repeated the Salah, whilst the other Sahabi did not repeat the Salah, and nor did he do wudu. They came to Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam and they related the incident. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said to the Sahabi who had not repeated his salah, "Ya asabta sunnah," that you have acted within the limits of the Shari'iyah. And to the Sahabi that had repeated his wudu and repeated his salah, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said to him, لَكَ الْأَجْرُ مَرَّتَيْن, you will be rewarded twice. So at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, there was no difference of opinion with regards to any issue of fiqh. This takes us to fiqh at the time of the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in. As soon as Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam left this world, the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in faced many problems. Problems which they had never faced at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. For example, the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. How should they give ghusl to Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam? How should they give him kafan? Where and how should he be buried? Yes, the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in witnessed the death of many people at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, but the Sahaba had never witnessed the death of a prophet. This was a new problem to them. They faced many problems like this, that regarding the answers for which there was no necessary in the Qur'an and Sunnah. There was no clear verse or clear hadith stating that this is the solution of this problem. For example, after the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was the problem of who should be